Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed, along with my engineer, Mike Samsel, as we're ready to bring you a show this week as we get set for another big ball game coming up, and the Pennsbury Falcons will be at home for this one, taking on William Tennant. And we're brought to you by Aria Health, your neighbors here in Bucks County, ready for you anytime you need assistance. Well, Coach, let's take a look back a little bit and take a look at that ball game you just played against that Abington team coming in as an undefeated ball club. You did a nice job, handled them extremely well. We know that they were minus maybe their starting quarterback, but their quarterback that they had in there was doing a decent job for them. And of course, their running back, as it turned out, Craig Reynolds, ended up with Snyder getting hurt early on, playing just about the entire ball game. And, he had his carries. He looked good again. One of the things I wanted to point out as we start this program is the fact that you changed up the tactics a little bit. In the beginning of the ball game, when you first got the ball and were driving down, you went to where, as you set up with the double tight ends and the two wing men came in behind your between your tackles and guards, and you left the fullback back there. And I thought to myself, what you were doing there, you wanted to send a message.
Yeah, we decided to go with our own version of the no huddle offense, and which is like a double tight power eye look. And so anyway, we went, we wanted to go right at them, sort of send a message, and that hey, we do what we do. And the other thing, we thought the element of surprise would be there. I think it was, and we just wanted them to know that, hey, we're going to come out here and play a physical game right from the start.
Yeah, that's what it looked like right off the bat. Like you want to let them know that, we're capable of taking you man on man, line for line. And I think one of the things, the big thing that helped was the fact that you didn't get a touchdown out of that, but you came away with points with a field goal, and I thought that was huge to be able to move down like that and get some points to start the game.
And especially the way the first half turned out, which, both defenses played pretty well in the first half. So, it looked like it was going to be that type of game, at least after the first half, so every point counted.
And when you look back on the ball game, and we were mentioning about the fact that what your ball club has been doing here, coming into this, the 7th game, now 5 wins in a row. And of course, when you look at your team, the nice thing about it is it seems to me like each and every week they seem to be getting better. And that's what you want to do. You want to be able to improve each and every time out. And I think you've certainly done that so far.
Well, you always hope that as a coach, that the team continues to get better from week to week. It usually does. There have been a couple of seasons where that hasn't happened, so, it's always makes you feel good. I know we have a staff of coaches that works very hard with our kids, and I also know that our kids work very hard, and we've gotten really good senior leadership as well, so, we're real pleased.
I was impressed with really just about every facet of the game with your ball club last week against Abington. Maybe the thing that impressed me the most, and of course it will not show up there in the stats, was the fact that your secondary coverage had knocked away really guys who were really on people. I mean, these were good receivers, and they were on them and really right tight and knocked away some passes that could have been completions. And I thought they just really played superb in the secondary.
We appreciate it, and like I said, the kids themselves back there, guys like Robert Daly and Anthony Pitt and Brendan Campbell and Quinn Fender and so forth, and of course Cody Tabik had a big pick for us towards the end in our nickel package. Those guys, they're some good athletes, and they do a good job covering the guys down the field. I think the secondary coaches, Coach Fee and Coach Shugat, do a great job with them as well.
Yeah, they did a very good job in that ball game. And I'll tell you, I'm happy because of the fact that when you're watching a team that you know where they came from, with having only 2 starters back on defense, and realizing, they were put through the mill the first game, having to play Easton. But it's something that you've mentioned to me a number of times, and we talked about this. But having a defense that had 9 guys new in that defense, and having to play the teams that they had to play early on in the season. To me, right now, you're reaping the benefits of what you took on the first few games of this year.
I believe that. I believe that our kids, they understood the challenge that was going to be, presented to them with our out of league schedule, and they've gotten better. Like I said, I mean, sometimes you never can predict these these things. It comes down to a little bit to the coaching, and it comes down a lot to the kids wanting to get better themselves and work together as a group, and that's what they've done.
And you know, when you look at it, not only the defense, of course, everybody knows the offense and what they've been doing so far this year, but I think the nicest part of it all is, as I look from week to week and I add up the stats that the guys have had in the backfield for you, and it's nice to see that you've got guys who have, say, 450 yards, another one has nearly 500, somebody else, of course, like Norway, may have over 500 yards, but the way you guys are going right now, you got about 1,500 yards so far on the ground, but you really have shown people that you can't rely on one person. You can't say, hey, we think it might be Norway this week, or it might be Smith this week, or it might be Thompson. That's nice to see that the ball not only is spread around, but they're all doing the job.
They are, and part of the offense for each of them that they're doing real well is also blocking.
Right,
because,
right.
You know, it's not like an I formation or, you know, where the tailback gets the ball, but he doesn't have to do any blocking, or spread where, you know, maybe you're, you know, getting the guys out on the edge or whatever the case may be. They've got to be good runners and good blockers, so they have to be good teammates. You know, they got to be willing to do those things for one another, and that's what they've done so far.
Yeah, you're looking at this right now. Taking a look at this William Tennant team you're going to be playing too coming up. I'm looking at their schedule and seeing some of their games, and you look at them as far as that goes, coming through with a victory here when it was against Ben Salem last week by 1. They lost to Council Rock North the previous week by 2. And of course, when you look at them, you say to yourself, you remember last year what Tennant did to the Chamonix when they pulled off the big upset there against them. And I was thinking to myself, after you guys coming through with that nice win and you're coming along, this would be one of those games after an Abington win, the way you had it and so soundly were victorious in that ball game, that this is one of those games where the kids can't take lightly.
You're probably right, Vince. You're probably right. Tennant's a scrappy team. You know, they've, as you said, they've played some teams tough in our league. They pulled out a big win against Ben Salem, who, you know, Ben Salem had run the ball for over 300 yards on them leading up to the last 5 minutes, and then it was 20-7 Ben Salem. And, you know, they pulled out a touchdown, and then after that they got an onside kick and scored. So they showed that they won't quit is the big thing right there. So we're going to have to go out and you know, try to take it to them from the start, and you know, keep the foot on the pedal.
All right, we're going to be back with more coming away here with Galen Snyder, talking about Pennsbury football. Coming up more right after this from Aria Health.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners, personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back once again, Vince Reed, along with Galen Snyder, as we take a look at this week's up-and-coming ball game. William Tennant, we were talking about a little bit, and they had a couple of guys, Alex Perks, who came in big for him, and Christian Mendez, who's another guy who's done a nice job for him, and Nick Banks is their quarterback for this team. When I look at this and I see this, you know, I think that really one of the things they're going to try to do is they're going to try to give you a double dose of Perks along with Mendez in this ball game, I would think.
Yeah, against Ben Salem, they ran the ball a lot. You know, they ran sweeps with the one young man, and ran a little bit of lead with the other one. And jet sweep's a big play of theirs. So they're actually sort of a variation of the wing T. You know, you'll see some jet sweeps out of them. You'll see a shotgun buck sweep. You know, some of the same plays that we're familiar with.
Yeah, when you look at this William Tennant ball club, like I said, you got to leave the fact that they're 2-4 and 1-2 in the league kind of behind right now, because you're looking at a team like this, and of course you also have later on coming up, I'd look at Council Rock North, teams that really you can't take for granted just because of the fact that maybe they've slipped here and there.
No, you can't take anybody for granted, as a matter of fact, and I'm sure Tennant's going to come there. They have nothing to lose, you know, everything to gain by playing us, and hopefully you know, beating us. I know, you know, we got into a situation with Truman where, you know, we weren't focused, and we ended up making a lot of mistakes in the first half and having to correct them. And we found ourselves in a ball game with them until the second half. So we don't want to do that here. We want to come out focused and ready to go.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I was thinking about, as I was talking about the fact that you look back on that Harry Truman game where the guys realized they kind of took them, figuring, okay, we're going to just chalk up another win, and found out you can't do that in this league. You got to come out and play, which they did the second half of play. But I think since you've gone through that once, I don't expect them to go through that a second time.
Well, I hope not. I will say, though, that Truman game came off of a big win against Downingtown
Right,
East.
right.
Now we have a big win against Abington, so let's just say we hope history doesn't repeat itself. That's how I say we get out there and we get after them from the start.
I think one of the things, too, you've got going for you is the fact that you utilize really Breon Clark very well. I think he's each and every ball game, he's getting more to the point where he's in charge. He's your quarterback. He runs the show, and he shows you what he can do. And certainly he can get the ball downfield. There's no problem with that. And it's nice to see, too, he's got the receivers. They may not be huge most of the time, like little Chuck Snorway, but they can pull them in. Muka got an opportunity to get a pass reception as well, so you're getting the tight end in on it. And I think that aspect has worked very well for you, the fact that you've got that in your hip pocket that he can throw anytime.
Sure, we've been throwing the ball a lot to Charlie Snorway, but you saw in this game Steve Ciotti,
Right.
DeAndre Cruz, Muka. So basically, all three of our receivers ended up with some catches. I thought Breon played very well. I thought he missed a pass or two here and there, but he also the passing through to Cruz was a beauty. The waggle that he threw to him, and his decision making was excellent. He took care of the ball. He ran when he had to. And at the same time, he also played with a lot of toughness. If you saw some of the runs, he took some hard hits.
Right.
He extended a series where it was hit about 4 yards shy of the first down marker, and he fought his way to get the first down. So I thought Breon played very well.
I think one of the things, too, that I noticed, and I got to admit that, a couple of times, and it has to do with everybody doing their job, and that's the fact that a couple of times when he's taken it and he's kind of bootlegged when everyone else is going another direction, your backs are doing a nice job making it look like they have the ball, and he's done an excellent job. There have been times where I thought he gave the ball off, and he still got it.
Well, that's another part of the offense. A quarterback who can handle the football, who can sell the fakes. And Breon does all that very well.
You take a look at this ball club now as you come into this game. As you were sitting there, say, back in August and thinking about, what you want to do with this team and how far you want to go along with them, when you take a look now with the season 5-1 and you're coming up here to a game where, you just come off, I would say, the biggest game for you so far as league is concerned right now with that nice win over an undefeated Abington team. Would you be thinking that your team would be progressing this much coming into this ball game?
Well, if you told me back in August that we would be in the position we're in and playing at the level we're in, I would definitely take it. I would say I'd be very happy if that was the case. So, in some senses, yeah, I've been a little bit surprised by how well we've progressed. And it's a credit. It's a credit to all the people that I mentioned before, all those people involved in it. And right now, it's a good time.
We mentioned the fact that, of course, the guys that we always mention that they get to play, and we do mention about that line because I think that's a big strength that you've got. But when you look at the team, we know about the line now, we know about the backs. Tell us about some of the guys who were the youngsters coming in here that maybe you thought, boy, they're going to have to improve and they're going to have to play a part in order for us to really be good. Who were those guys that have impressed you who really didn't have a lot of experience coming in this season?
Boy, there's a whole bunch of guys who fit into that category. You start off with the entire defensive line is first-year starting for us, between Mata and Burt Robinson and John Jakimowitz and Jack Kenny. Jack Kenny, the sophomore, has really done a good job. I always thought, like Robert Daly, who's a sophomore starting corner, I always knew what he was capable of. But Anthony Pitt in the other corner has gotten better as the season has went. I think Quinn Fender Again, another first-year starter has gotten better as the season has went. And Jordan O'Neal stepped in at inside linebacker when my own boy Luke Snyder went down, and Jordan's done a real nice job for us there. And we've even moved Dalton Hose inside, and Dalton's always been like a running back, a halfback / outside linebacker, so he's had to go in there and do a good job. So there's a lot of guys who really, accepted, what we're asking them to do, and really have gotten a lot better and have, really turned the defense into something that was a little unexpected,
When you take a look too, I mentioned too about the special teams. We know you've got guys who can run the ball back, but your kickers are young. You've got guys that Josh Leon and Geary are very young guys yet, and they're going to be back with you. And Ashante has done a nice job with kickoffs for you. And I look at it and I think to myself, you've got something going here with that facet of the game, because you got 3 guys you can count on now for a while.
Yeah, that's another area that's improving, continuing to improve, is our special teams. So, that's obviously you hear that talked about all the time, being good at all 3 areas. And if you can do that, we kicked the field goal the other night, we're making our extra points, for the most part we're covering kicks pretty well. Those are all positives.
Yeah, I know it might be just as I was looking down in the field, and I do every game before the ball game, and noticed too that from the start of the season compared to now, even your kickers, when they come in to warm up, I've noticed that now I didn't think they could reach 45 yards. Now, they're kicking from the 35, which is extended 10 yards in the end zone, and I see them in practice making 45-yarders. So I didn't see that early on, but I see that as they're coming along.
Well, they're making progress, and I think they're gaining confidence. And Coach Sheffer works with them; he does a real nice job with them. He's a kicker here as well. So we're pleased with them.
All right, we're going to be back with more here on the Galen Snyder Show right after this from ARIA Health.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
And we're back once again on the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed. And Coach, let's talk about this William Tennant team a little bit more here before we are winding things up here and getting ready for the kickoff of tonight's ball game. Tell us about what you have seen, having scouted this William Tennant ball club this year.
Well, as I said, there's sort of a version of wing T football, more like a spread out version of wing T football on offense. Defensively, I've seen some odd front from them, but we'll see come game time what they decide to run. They're not real huge on defense, but they are active. They run to the ball. So we'll see. There's, like I said, I think they're a scrappy bunch, and we'll see what happens.
Well, we know how you came out there the last game against Abington. Anything new wrinkle this week, or just come at them just the way they expect you to? And that's what the having the double wing formation, and maybe having one wide there, and then having an opportunity to say, hey, this is what we do, and we're going to do it here tonight again.
Yeah, I think it'll be back to normal for us, but you never know. We can always bring back the old what we call it, the no huddle power eye look when we need to.
I'm sure one thing it has done, and that is the fact that what you've done is that the scouts over there, the coaches that you're playing the rest of the season, have got to prepare for that now too.
Yep, no doubt about it. Who knows? Maybe we've got something else up our sleeve. You never know.
You never know. And of course, with like we said, with the way this team is playing, that they're playing at a high level right now. They've gotten improvement in each and every ball game, and we're looking for this to continue on, of course, and getting an opportunity to be at home for this ball game tonight is going to be good too. And they'll be taking on the Panthers of William Tennant, what should be a good ball game here. And Coach, good luck this weekend.
Oh, thanks, Vince.
So we're getting ready for the kickoff of tonight's ball game coming up, and of course, Pennsbury, the Falcons are home to take on the Panthers of William Tennant. Our Galen Snyder Show brought to you today, as usual, by ARIA Health, your neighbors here in Bucks County. If you're in need of them, they're ready to take care of you. So for Mike Sansel, my engineer, I'm Vince Reed. get ready for the ball game. The kickoff coming up between Pennsbury and William Tennant.